is Zhu Pingyi from Academia Sinica in the Institute of History and Philology. And my question is that since you have, make a brief to our government officials and congressmen and so on, probably with this information, and I'm just curious about, what's their reaction to, your very informative analysis of the whole industry. Thank you.
Well, I had even less time talking to officials and congressmen. And I also chose to split the introductory presentation I did at Congress into two parts. So there is a part which I have not talked about here at all, which is how to design energy policy. Because I do believe that, the reactions I get on this basic message is generally surprise. Right? I mean, people are surprised that actually these trends have been so declining for so long. It's not something that people would expect. But my feeling was that it would be useful to go to the next step and say, well, if it's in decline, it has been in decline for a long time, so how do you react? What is the current trend in energy policy, and how do you design a different energy policy? So I chose to add that onto the presentation.
Thank you. I'm Steve Wilson from National Taiwan University, and I have a question. I'm wondering why it's really like an implosion rather than an explosion of the whole industry. What's the dynamic of the implosion? Could you explain it in a scientific way, or policy making, or some social condition way? Could you explain that? I'm wondering why it's a kind of implosion in the whole industry. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think there is no standard answer. Like, you have to look at the dynamic in country by country, and there's different reasons why this is happening in various countries. However, I think that historically speaking, the nuclear power programs came out of nuclear weapons countries. That's the origin. That's the historic origin. And the idea in the 1950s, and which was kept until the early 1970s, was the dream to be able to generate electricity very cheaply under a very highly controlled and manner in a system that would be under full safety conditions. And I think that the economics already in the early 70s made clear that you wouldn't get that result at the investment that was taken. But the investment levels are so high that it takes some courage to say, well, sorry, we were wrong. We spent $5 billion for nothing. Who would say that? You think, honestly, that Taipower will come out one day saying, oh, sorry, folks, we made a huge mistake. We've been building for 13 years now, but it was actually an error? I don't think you can expect that. And it's maybe an issue for psychologists more than anything else. But it's very difficult to actually say, well, we've been working for decades on something that doesn't work out. But the interesting part is that this was actually triggered already in the 70s. The last nuclear power plant in the US that was ordered and put into operation was ordered in 1973. And the last one that was ordered, but they were all canceled, was in 1978. So this is it's an old story, and this kind of decline thing is happening so slowly because the investments are so heavy. So the argument has always been made, sunk investment. Lumen, sunk investment now. So what are we going to... Come on, I mean, now we're going to finish it. There's so much money already sunk into it. So there's no free decision making. And the only thing I can recommend on this is to say, well, take the freedom to decide without considering the past. You know, one has to open up options again. That is the most difficult. But it's one of the reasons why this implosion takes so much time.